Hi, Pablo. Here is the defect in the cartilage. You can see very close up, look at all these little tiny fractures through the cartilage. This is an area of more normal cartilage here. When I press over here, this is completely normal. I don't feel any defects. This is in the main weight-bearing area of the cartilage. I don't feel any defects. Normal resistance to the cartilage when I push in, it sort of pushes back at me. As I come over here, this is a little off the weight-bearing area. We have this is the defect here. It goes up here. And our first thing that we need to do is these flaps are loose and they're not viable. You can see bone underneath that. So we need to remove the loose flaps first and then see what size we're dealing with. If we're dealing with a large size, we may not be able to accomplish this today. Because I only want to take from you a 10 by 10 millimeter graft. We don't want to get into taking big grafts from donor areas. We just want a 10 by 10 graft. So the first thing we're going to do is just remove the loose fragments here. We're going to save these pieces of cartilage if I could. Then I'm going to take I'm going to need a 3/5 full radius as well. You can see underneath it, Pablo, is the bare bone. The yellowish color is the bare bone. There's bare bone under here. From a biologic standpoint, the flaps are no longer living if they're not attached to the bone. If there's just a crack in the cartilage, but it's supported underneath and it's not delaminated, that's something that could potentially be left. Here's a crack, but I'm feeling with my probe and it's still attached. There's a piece that's not attached, so I can pull up on that, it's not attached. So we're just going to very gently and meticulously go through here and see what's attached and what's not attached, and see where we end up with. That seems to be pretty good here. Here, maybe not. We'll see. Okay, do you have a small little curette I could have? A little tiny guy. There's a close-up view, Pablo. You can see over here too, we're over the way medial aspect of your knee, meaning on the inside. I've had to take some of the knee capsule down. That will regrow this tissue here, just so I can get a better look over here. Yeah. It's a partial defect here. Okay. So we're going to see what we can do here. Once again, if you look really close, you can see these fracture lines through the cartilage in multiple planes. The presence of the fracture lines doesn't bother me as much as if there's any loose fragments. That's a different story. When I push on the bone here itself, that bone feels pretty good. We'll start with that. Thanks. This is a little curette here. It looks huge, but it's actually tiny. If you look outside your body, it's tiny. So we're just going to very gently remove any loose pieces here. You can see as I move here, the cartilage move, that means it's loose. I'm going to take a grasper next. Then after this, I'm going to take I'll take the smallest curette ever made by a human. Just saving those pieces of cartilage. It's conceivable that we could use that for in the future to grow your own cells if we had to. We have one coming up. So once again, this is loose here. You can see how loose this is. So we're just trying to get to a stable area. It's pretty good. It's attached to the bone here. There it's not. Yeah, it would typically go in saline though if you have just plain old saline. Yeah, you can. Yeah. See that? Here's another example. Well, we're just working very slowly here, but by the way, all those fragments we remove, we have a special suction that does that. We don't leave them inside your knee floating around. This piece is still loose here, see that? I can lift that right off. So if this comes off, how big are we going to be? Because that really looks like it's the end of. So a 10 would probably do it. Yeah, I do. I mean, it just comes, it's just. Yeah. So I think we're at the extent of it. It's okay. There's a little fissure here, but it's stable. The arthrocare a second. It's a little tiny area here. A little bit there, huh?